Some commotion outside interrupts our slumber. When we check the sky, it is still dark. We leave our room to investigate what is going on. The manager reveals that there is a horde of sineaters approaching the Crystarium. In times like these, the people gather at the XIV and seek solace between one another. If we head there, we can definitely find something to do for them. We see Alphino and Alizae are here too. The Exarch is preparing a barrier to put around the Crystarium, and we need to do everything we can to make sure it goes without a hitch. There are apparatus that need to be activated to make sure the barrier functions. Alphino will take the northern two, Alizae will head to the southern two, whilst we need to activate the eastern ones. As we activate the final anchor, the barrier forms. As it reaches its maximum altitude, the sineaters descend on the Crystarium, but they cannot break through it. That means that the Crystarium is safe. As for the rest of Lakeland, Lena and the city guard are down there trying to defend the other settlements. Thancred and the others have already joined them, and we shall do the same. We are to assist the Vanguard in their operations and reduce the Crystarium's casualties. It is understated just how many sineaters are out here. We have never seen this amount of sineaters moving without a light warden being present. Everywhere the eye can see, there is nothing but the wicked white. The guards are doing everything they can to stop them. We aid the guards and see that a group of eaters is heading for Radiska's round. Luckily, Y'shtola and Urianger are here to intercept them. We defeat all nearby eaters, including one that had the blighted touch, and move for the imperative. There is a distinct lack of sineaters here, only the bodies of allies and enemies. This is because Thancred and Minfilia have already cleared out this area and made sure that all of the civilians are hunkered down elsewhere. But we cannot allow the eaters to get the upper hand. We slay every single one we come across. There is a group of guards attacking a more powerful eater. Before we can reach them, it kills them all. Thancred and Minfilia chase that one down. Instead, we must head for the imperative. Too many lives have been lost. We have to hurry. Arriving at the imperative, it was as we feared. The eaters outnumber us 2 to 1, or even more. But we have to turn the tide. We defend the injured by forming a blockade at the entrance and slay each sineater before they can lay a hand on the guards. A powerful sineater arrives, and Alizae has to resort to the same skill she used on the Warriors of Darkness. Everyone gives her their ether, and she deals the final blow. Elsewhere, Minfilia is fighting against the sineater, and hears Lena yelling out in pain. When she turns the corner, she sees 4 lesser eaters surrounding her. Her comrades turned in front of her, and this caught her off guard. As Minfilia was distracted helping Lena, the powerful sineater from before sends a powerful strike towards both of them, but luckily it is intercepted by Thancred. Minfilia and Lena are too tired to help him in this battle. He parries its blade and delivers the final blow straight to its chest. The guards are being mowed down like cattle. They do not stand a chance against their numbers. It doesn't matter if they slay a few, because their comrades turn into more reinforcements for the enemy. All Ardbert can do is watch this horror unfold in front of him. For what reason was he cursed with this immortality? He hears the voice of a medic in the distance, comforting his friend. Just hold out a little longer. Reinforcements are coming, remember? The captain said so. We're going to be all right. The Warrior of Darkness has returned. The Bloody Knight has returned. So stay with me. You can't go dying now. A sineater has noticed their presence, but they haven't noticed it. Ardbert calls out to them to run, but they cannot hear his words. He brandishes his axe and races towards the eater, praying for this to work. He swings his axe with as much force as he can muster, but he phases right through it. He stands there in silence, knowing what's about to happen. When the medic finally notices the sineater, it is already too late. He tries to run away but can't. He and his friend are already dead. Ardbert laments at his situation. Why did they spare him? What has he done to deserve this mercy? He notices that a Crystarium officer is gathering those who can wield a sword to make a final push. At the head of this front is us.
Fight and struggle. Seek salvation by your own hands. Though the losses be grave, endure them. Though the victories be hollow, claim them.
It is now morning, and we have driven back what we can, at least for the time being. The amount of wounded is inconceivable. They do not have enough hands to treat everybody, so we offer up our services and go to treat some of the remaining guards. The first man cannot speak. He gazes at us with tear-filled eyes. His fingers twitch as if he wanted to reach out for us, but lacks the strength to do so. The second guard thanks us, but it is too late. One of the sineaters got him. He's going to change. He begs us to kill him before he turns into one. The look in his eyes tells us that he doesn't want to die, that he wants to continue the fight, but he doesn't want to hurt anybody else. So please, do it. The final guard is seen trembling in a corner. He had to kill his best friend who turned into a sineater in front of him. He keeps telling himself over and over that he had to do it. We report to Lena, who was also injured in that battle. She should rest, but she is their commander, and her place is on the battlefield with her men. She tries to walk, but her leg gives out, and she collapses due to her injuries. But she insists that she is fine, completely and utterly fine, better than fine, still alive to mourn those who are not, those she failed to protect when they needed her most. We have come so far that she could have sworn that the end was in sight, and now they will never see it.
Impudent worms of the Crystarium, the tragedy that has befallen you is of your own making. Divine retribution for your defiance. The heavens have bequeathed to you a benevolent savior, me. I offer you freedom from pain and suffering, a paradise where man and sineater might live in peace and harmony. Why, already, our winged brothers and sisters regard me and mine as kin, alike to them in beauty and purity. But you not only reject my prophet hand, but raise your own against my sineaters. But it's only right that they respond in kind. Let this be a lesson to all those who would walk the path of sin. The wicked shall not inherit this world!
His message has rightfully pissed us off. They killed so many for no reason, only because he doesn't want to lose his dominion. Lena apologizes for her prior outburst, but she cannot allow her wounds to affect her performance, especially not now. Whilst she is busy with that, she asks us to visit Thancred in her stead. He was injured whilst defending her from the sineaters. The Kairu have treated him, but Minfilia has taken this whole ordeal personally and blames his injuries on herself. He's tried to speak to her, but she won't listen, and he asks that we find her in the Hortorium. Maybe we can lend an ear if she needs it. We find Minfilia, and she is definitely down in the dumps. She carelessly jumped to the aid of Lena, which caused Thancred to sustain such an injury. It's all her fault. Then she can make up for it by being there for him. Are we sure? Isn't she just a burden? What if he gets injured again, or worse? He'll resent her after that, for being this weak. Maybe he already does. Maybe we're right. She can still help. She will bring the herbs Chesamil needs back to her. With these herbs, Chesamil can keep up with the amount of injured patients being admitted. The war was devastating. You can see it on the faces of those who fought. Even though they were not on the front lines, they are still fighting in their own battlefield as we speak. and they will see to it that they win here too. Nay, she promises they will. Thancred and Minfilia apologize for making us help out here, even though we are exhausted. Though our efforts have saved many lives, we will have more battles to come, battles only we can fight in, but we should report back to the Exarch. A wounded guard asks us, do we know the Exarch? He wants us to deliver a message to him. His dearest friend was on the battlefield with him, but only one of them is here to speak of it. Before his wounds killed him, he heard his dying words. I never knew that our world was this beautiful. I'm so glad that I got to see the night sky. He doesn't know how the Exarch feels about the battle, and he doesn't know if what Vorthri said was true, but he believes in the Warrior of Darkness, in the Crystal Exarch. He doesn't think that what we've done is wrong, and he doesn't think that they were wrong to fight with us. His friend smiled in the end, just as he smiled when he raised his glass to celebrate the return of the night. That's how he wants to remember him. So what he wants to tell the Exarch is, don't give up. Don't give in. Please. We move to the Ocular to speak with the Exarch, and Thancred goes to gather the rest of the Scions. He has heard tales of our bravery on the battlefield. He thanks us for what we did, but laments that his actions have caused this whole ordeal. We tell him what the wounded guard just told us. A guard said that? Thank you. He fully intends to continue his work, especially now. He will mourn the loss, but not lose himself in the grief. He will follow the path he has chosen all the way to its end. We still have some time before the others arrive. If he'd like to talk about it, we are willing to lend an ear. And if he were to confess any doubts that he might harbor, nobody would ever know. He contemplates it for a moment and then denies it. We have enough burdens on our shoulders without him adding to them. We while the time away as we wait for the rest of the Scions to convene with us. With our efforts thus far, we have survived the assault, and the people of the Crystarium are better for our intervention. Without us, they would have been gone. As for the attack itself, sineaters aren't creatures of intelligence. It is only by a Light Warden that their attacks can be coordinated. But there is no Light Warden in Lakeland. Therefore, the lesser sineaters have no reason to congregate as they did, which points to a single, unavoidable conclusion. Lord Vorthri set them upon us. But this show of hand will not force us to bend the knee. We know that Vorthri can command sineaters, but he can also command the mind of others, hence why those who live in Ul'dah are his worshippers and do not question his rule. Our next goals are finding the Light Wardens of Calusia and Armoreng. While Alphino hasn't found anything, Alizé has found out that the Light Warden may be hiding in an abandoned mine in western Armoreng. It would be the perfect place to stay out of sight, as it would take us weeks to find it. Everyone ponders on what we could do. Minfilia speaks up, stating that with the power of the Oracle, the old Minfilia could locate sineaters by their light and most definitely could spot a Light Warden from almost anywhere. If we traveled to the south of Armoreng, then she could summon her back. Thancred has always tried to keep her in the dark, but she knows the truth and she means to meet it head on. Emmett thought that she was an underwhelming reincarnation, but he realizes it is because the Oracle lies dormant within her. To draw on her true power, they must become one. One must consume the other. Thancred snaps at him, telling him that this doesn't concern him. But it clearly concerns Thancred. That is why his heart is ready to burst out of his chest, as he never once opened up to Minfilia. Now why would that be? Love? Well, for one, Emmett believes it is a great idea, better than any other suggestion we have put forward. So off to Armoreng it is. It's hard to imagine what Thancred is going through at this moment. On one hand, if Minfilia surrenders herself to the Oracle, then the Minfilia we know will come back to us, something he's been trying to do since she disappeared in Heavensward. But that means Minfilia of the First had to give up on life and die to achieve it. If Minfilia wants to continue fighting, then she will absorb the Oracle, becoming the new Minfilia, and the old one will cease to exist forevermore. We wait at the gate of Armoreng and ask Minfilia if she is sure she wants to go through with this. No matter what happens to her, she doesn't want to go back to being who she was. She wants to be strong enough to face her own destiny, and she wants to play a part in saving this world. That is what she believes and hopes that we can believe it too. When she puts it that way, how can we not? It is her decision to make. She just needs to be prepared to make it work. Now all that's left is to go to Nabartha itself. Alizé has neglected to mention something. The Ul'dah airships are already in the skies of Armoreng, meaning that we will face armed forces again. There are two paths in Nabartha, the eastern and the western. The eastern side is the more known path, so the Ul'dah will wait for us there. Alizé's plan is to split the group in two. Alizé, Alphino, and Y'shtola will take to the eastern side and distract the Ul'dah army, whilst the rest of us take to the western side, named the Hills of Amber.
Take comfort in the bonds you share. Accept the pain when the time comes to part. Press on, for joy and sorrow walk hand in hand. Beyond Mount Garrick lie the Hills of Amber, beneath which run hidden veins of mineral wealth. Or ran, at least. Mayhap they are spent. Or mayhap the ringing of hammers can yet be heard below.